Oh, fam, Jesus Christ. I was so ready to get in this team's ass. Let me start my intro over again. Hello, fam. You're on the mark where we talk Falcons football. It's your boy, Marcus Washington. So, listen, man. Listen. Anybody telling you we need to run it back with this coach and these two coordinators don't know football. Don't know football. I'm saying that right the fuck now. Shout out to Lil Bryce. Lil Bryce had his best game as a pro against us in a game that we needed to make the playoffs. We needed two games, fam, to make the playoffs. Very winnable games. We lost both. You know what Tampa didn't do, though? They didn't do that. Fam, you got to fire Raheem. You got to let go of Zach. You definitely got to fire Jimmy Lake. And I'm willing to bet Raheem is so loyal. He let Jimmy call this whole game. Bruh, that defense looked awful. But in all honesty, it's looked awful all year. And again, Raheem went into the he went into the locker room for good with 2 timeouts. After Bijan breaks for a first down, he just swallows the timeouts. Where are you keeping these motherfuckers, man? Where are you keeping these timeouts, bruh? And this is why you got to fire these guys tomorrow. Dude, we found our franchise QB in Michael Penix. That 3rd and 20 to Drake London, that man threw that without thinking, and it was a dot. Drake, let me pull up the numbers. Drake went off almost 200 yards. And this is with no Darnell Mooney on the other side. This is why you got to get these guys the fuck out of here and get somebody competent. You done wasted 2 of Bijan's seasons, and Bijan has been a beast this year. You done wasted 2 of his years. You done wasted 3 of Drake's years. Get some competent guys in here, bruh. I don't see, for people that are campaigning for Raheem, Zach, and Jimmy to run this back. What's your logic? What is your logic at this point? They need another year to do what? Learn how to fucking call timeouts? Jimmy ain't gonna change it. Jimmy's in over his head. He's not a defensive coordinator. He's the guy that brings the coffee to the defensive coordinator. Zach looks like he needs to be on the set of Baywatch or something, not up in the booth calling plays. Get you some competent guys in here, man. And Raheem proved this year he ain't no head coach. He's a coordinator. He's a coordinator. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, if you got a competent head coach, if you got a competent offensive coordinator, if you got a competent defensive coordinator, we would probably be, ain't no probably. We'd definitely be a 10-win team. Dude, they couldn't even get the fucking 9 wins. They couldn't even get the 9. Bro, last year, here's how bad this season is. And this is why Raheem need to get fired. Last year, as bad as we played, at the end of the year, we still had a chance to make the playoffs. This is with a quarterback that was absolute ass. We still had an opportunity to make it there. insert Raheem, and you're in the same spot. I mean, what's the logic? Oh, we were better than last year? Really? 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 If you're telling me this defense is better than last year's defense, you on that China white that has not been stepped on. You can't bring these guys back. You can't. These motherfuckers done lost the fan base. You can't bring Jimmy back. You can't even. Man, people are tired of hearing Raheem's press conferences. You definitely can't bring him back. What Atlanta needs right now is something we haven't had in 2 decades. That's an experienced head coach. That's actually won something. And let me tell you, this is all coaching. I can prove it to you. Hold on, where's my phone at? Now, let me pull this up here real quick. So Caleb Williams has been called a bust this year, right? He's been called a bust. While Jaden Daniels has been touted as Rookie of the Year. Fam, do y'all know their numbers are damn near identical? Jaden Daniels has 7 more touchdowns, but Caleb has less picks. That's how deep coaching goes. And at least in Washington's situation, they picked up a coach that went to a fucking Super Bowl. So it's not like Washington picked up a coach that hadn't been nowhere. We keep getting these first-time guys, and we got... What has Raheem done, honestly? Losing record. He's at a point now, if you bring him back and Atlanta went undefeated, he still wouldn't have a 500 record as a head coach. Millie says, Mark, once again, Z-Rob called a hell of a game with Michael Penix at QB. The problem is, Zach, let me tell you why it is. Penix looks like he's the truth, but he had to scramble and pretty much do scramble drills to get some of those plays off. And if Bijan's not on this roster, if we had an average running back, this man would have been fired. Well, I can't say that. On another team, he would have been fired mid-season. These players are bailing Zach Robinson out. Man, and I'm looking at Zach. Dude, what's different from Zach's play calling from week 1 to today? It's the same shit. 2 different quarterbacks. It's the same play calling. Ahmad says, you asked what has Raheem done interviewed well. That's it. My guys all talk. Yeah. Fam, if this was any other job, these guys would have been fired. And the thing that I just find fascinating is people like to give guys like these second chances. They're making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. I'm looking at it as this team was good enough to make a deep run at the beginning of the season. The roster was there. People are calling for Terry's head. Bro, Terry didn't swallow those timeouts. Now Terry's got to get some of the blame because he co-signed on his coach. But Terry ain't out there calling no plays. Terry put the talent out there on the field. This coaching staff has squandered it. So you give these guys another year. I don't see any promise, especially on this defense. You can't even at this point, you can't even justify giving Jimmy Lake another year when you got Gray right behind him. You can't even justify it. You might have an argument with Zach Robinson. I just don't like his play calling. He's got guys running routes in the same area. He gets a little running drunk sometimes. And I just don't like the play design at all. But even through that, I can see Penix ball. Bijan is going to be a stud for years to come. Now, if I'm Terry, I'm trying to re-sign. I'm trying to get Rondale Moore back in the building because, again, we need some speed. And, you know, things didn't work out the way that they were supposed to. I feel like they were going to have Rondale in the slot. They were going to have Darnell Mooney on the other side. So you got speed on the other sides of Drake London. But, man, there's no excuse. I mean, you know, now people are trying to move the goalposts and talk about expectations. Bro, at the bare minimum, expectations was the playoffs. Atlanta didn't even get there. They didn't even get there. But, man, y'all just can't let go of a coach, man. He needs... No. This is a grown-ass man. He walked in there probably like Denzel Washington. And remember the Titans. You knew what the expectations were, bruh. We didn't bring you here to win one extra game. If that was the case, shit, we should have just kept Arthur Smith. Still a losing season, and then you lost to the Panthers. So, yes, with guys like Pete Carroll out there that want to coach, that has actually won something. There are other coaches out there too. All of them are probably better than Raheem at this point. So that's why I'm like, why is the logic to keep him? Why? You're going to fire it. If you kept the guy, you're going to fire him in the middle of the season next year anyway. So if the argument is Penix has to learn a new playbook, I'd rather him learn it this offseason. I'd rather that happen. But this was, man, dude, this was coaching malpractice. And the front office asked for this, honestly. Because you had better candidates. You did. You did. Raheem Morris was so great of a guy, y'all didn't bring him back after his interim tenure here. It was so good that y'all let go of him for a first-timer in Arthur Smith. That's why I didn't understand the hire. But like a loyal soldier, I got behind it. That's stopping. That's stopping. Bates had a good year. We saw Ebiketie coming out. Man, I saw Matthew Judon drop back in coverage 3 times. When I saw this, I almost wanted to snap my neck. And I'm like, what are we doing? A lot of the games I've watched this year, that's been my thought process. What are we doing? We're not great on either side of the ball. And I know some people will be like, well, Mark, look at the stats. Since such and such, here's my retort to that. Where are we at now? Did we win those games? With all those stats, did we win? I saw confidence in Lil Bryce I had never seen before. And shout out to Bryce. Bryce was catching pure hell. But what he did today, I'm tired of seeing that happen to our team. I'm just tired. And it's family. You got to get a coach in here with some experience. You have to. And I'm talking about winning experience. We have been bargain basement hunting for coaches for 20 years. If you're a first-time head coach, come on down to Atlanta. Come on down to Atlanta. If you've never proven yourself, come on down to Atlanta. We'll give you a shot. Oh, you won how many titles? I don't know about that, man. We don't like furniture moved here. Oh, you've won a ring before? Oh man, it's a shame how they let you go. Nah. Oh, you're 21-38 as a head coach? We had you before? What we let you go for? Huh? That's interesting. Oh, you won a ring. Oh, but it wasn't because of you. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. This might be I'm taking notes. This might be our guy. That's how Atlanta thinks. That's how the front office thinks. To me, and I'm keeping it a buck right now. If Atlanta keeps Raheem Morris and Zach and Jimmy, if they keep 2 out of the 3, this front office ain't serious about winning. They're not. And at that point, my fandom, I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit. I'm still gonna be a diehard, but my volume's gonna be down. Because if they don't care about bringing in competent people in here to help us win, then why should we? Right now, tell me whose front office is feeling better, Carolina or ours? We got 3 more wins than Carolina does. They're not serious about winning if they keep Raheem because they don't have a legitimate reason to keep him. If they say, well, we won 1 more game, my response to that is, y'all could have kept Art Smith in here for that. If it's, well, you need 2 years to gel. Really? How long Dan Quinn been in Washington? Him and Raheem are in the same boat. They previously were coaches. Took Dan Quinn 1 year. So you can't even give me that excuse. So I'm like, what's the legitimate reason? Well, it takes an offense 2 years. Fam, y'all see this offense. It's the talent that's saving Zach. I'm looking at some of these throws from Michael Penix, and I'm immediately saying, bruh, this is a top 10 arm. And he's got Drake London out there. He's going to be a high wide receiver in these fantasy rosters next year. And this is without a number 2 speed demon. This is without a number 2 you can really rely on. Well, Darnell Mooney, I'm going to give him that, but he was out this game. But you got to have a speed guy. Bijan looking like he could be a generational talent. Algier's always been a beast. Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. So that's what coaching will do to you. Coaching will make your quarterback either look like a bust or an MVP. And I just don't, I like to hear the justification of keeping Raheem Morris. outside of he's only been coaching a year, which to me isn't even an excuse. He had a chance in Tampa. He was an interim head coach here. This is his third bite at the apple. And he hasn't really been good at all three. So honestly, if I'm Arthur Blank and the reports are true that he wanted Bill Belichick, I'm pulling fucking rank. It's my team. If I'm Art, I'm pulling rank tonight. Somebody got to talk to me. Rich, I wanted Bill. Well, you know, it takes a little while for the team to gel. Yeah, I'm not getting any younger. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out and get a head coach that has a winning way about him. That's actually won something. I'm not doing another first timer. I'm just not. I'm sick. We got to get some experience in here. I don't want a first time anything. J. Dot says Ray also caused that interception. That boy is inconsistent. Remember, Ray was supposed to be the fourth guy on the depth chart. So Ray shouldn't even be out there like that. Now, I'll say through the season, Ray has done some good things, especially, you know, with that 40-yard dime that your boy Penix threw. But yeah, I just can't see how that ended up being an interception. It was like Ray got the ball and just tipped it up. So, but again, it didn't matter because Tampa didn't lose. So this game was pretty much the game we had to have was last week. That's the one we had to have. I told y'all last week. Season over. I told y'all that. I wasn't even up and down over this game. I wasn't stressed about this game, nothing. I was just sitting on the couch because I knew it was only a matter of time before Tampa came and tapped that ass. I wasn't about to get on here on bended knee like boys the men talking about Saints, y'all got to come. Fuck them. There will never, ever be a day where I'm asking New Orleans to do anything but suck these nuts. That's it. And I'm talking about the Saints. I'm not talking about the town. That's the only thing y'all can do for me is suck these nuts. And I saw a lot of people on bended knee in the rain. On bended knee in the rain, bro. I can't do it. LKO says, where do we pick in the draft? That's a good question. I have no idea right now. But I will tell you this: it needs to be on defense. This year it needs to be defense. If you get a legitimate coach in here, they would know you already got enough players on offense. You know, get you a speed guy. I would re-sign Rondale Moore, and I would let him and Mooney do their thing on the other side of the ball. Maddie says, we're around 17th or 18th. Okay, that's good. Yeah. You ain't gonna get a top guy, but you know you can get a decent guy. Monica says she's guilty. Yeah, you get the best player available at that point. Dre says, matter of fact, I want New Orleans as our home opener next season. Damn them. Yeah, man, listen. You can tell it's pure hatred. The Saints wanted to lose. Saints fans wanted to lose, so we couldn't make the playoffs. And I like that. I like that. Talk sexy to me. I like that shit. It's supposed to be like that. Justin said, we'll probably do some boneheaded shit and take a wide receiver in the draft. Nah, I think they're gonna go defense. But again, this is, I told people, man, you know, and some people be like, well, hey, Mark, you campaigned for Kirk Cousins. I did. I damn sure did. I did a victory lap when we got him too. But when he fell off a cliff, I didn't say keep him. I didn't say, you know what, it takes a minute. It takes a minute to get into this offense, man. And, you know, we give Kirk another year, man, and Kirk will be right as rain. No. I said what I'm saying right now about these coaches. Y'all got to bench him. Y'all got to get him out the paint. These coaches, you got to get them out the paint. You got to. They're holding this team back. Now, some people say, yeah, there's some missed tackles, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I get that too. Happens every game. There isn't a team out here where their defense does not miss tackles, period. Now, we miss a little more than not, but meh. The crazy part is the messaging is wrong from the head coach. The culture is non-existent. And again, I told y'all months ago, I had an issue with Raheem Morris telling the team that all these games are going to be like this. Because guess what? All these games end up being like this. What was the difference between Washington and Carolina? One team's going to the playoffs. One team's going to the house. We both went into overtime with both teams with 2 timeouts left in the fourth quarter. They got the ball. We never touched it. Both teams won. What's the difference? If you're telling your team that all these games are going to be like this, there's no reason for them to feel like they're dominant. They're going to play down the competition. And ain't no heads rolling. You look at Dan Campbell up there in Detroit. His first press conference, he was talking about biting kneecaps. He went, biting knee? What the fuck is this man talking about? And Detroit wasn't going nowhere. Detroit was going nowhere fast. Now look at these boys. Now look at them. Top bow wows in the NFC. Complete team. I ain't never heard. And the crazy part about Dan Campbell is last year when they lost to the NFC Championship game, he was like, this might have been our only shot. And that team, and I talked about that. Man, this team came back harder this year. Atlanta, fuck hitting a home run on a quarterback. We need to hit a home run on a coach. Now, I think we've hit a home run on Penix. Penix in these 3 games has shown me that poise. Man, this guy's got a poise of a veteran already. Now, some of the balls, he had one that floated over Drake. But man, you give this kid another year in reps and a new playbook. This kid gonna be a monster. Drake has already shown y'all this year. Oh, y'all thought I was a bust last year. See, I didn't have nobody throwing it to me last year. Now I'm the goods. And Kyle Pitts is still Kyle Pitts. 3 Dirty says Marcus Washington, they moonwalking again. Babe, you can't. Nobody can justify keeping Raheem. Nobody. And again, I love my Falcons brethren. I do. Y'all gonna have a hard time justifying keeping Raheem. You need 2 games to make the playoffs. You lost both. But hopefully Arthur Blank makes the executive decision and gets everybody the fuck up out of here and goes and gets the guy he wants, not who he's told to go get. Albert Sandoval says, Mark, I'm so sick with these defensive-minded coaches and we have trash defense. Exactly. Over 500 yards of offense. Rookie QB time after time delivering the goods. Please fire GM. Please fire the GM and the head coach, please. I don't think Terry's going anywhere. Head coach needs to. Because again, with Terry, he's not calling these plays. That roster that we got at the beginning of this season, everybody was talking about this is a playoff team. Terry did his job. The only reason I'm looking at him sideways because of this fucking head coaching hire. But as far as the roster, I'm good with that. Matter of fact, let me take that back. Terry let that head coach go, and that first OC and that first DC go too. Now, I don't know if Terry has some pushback with these first timers that ain't proven shit. But yeah, he got to get under the blade a little bit for that too. Because if he co-signed that, yeah, that's on him too. Maddie says, fire Raheem. I'm hiring Pete Carroll immediately. I talked about that last week. And I actually talked about this earlier on the Birdcage with Ryan. Y'all go catch him, man. That's what I would do. That's what and for people that have a problem with that, here's my question. Would you rather have Pete Carroll or Raheem? Right now. There's your answer on why you hire him. Pete Carroll's already won a chip. Should have won two. And remember, when they let go of Russell Wilson, nobody had Seattle winning anything. And they were winning games with Geno fucking Smith. So if I poll, matter of fact, I'm going to do that when I get off here. If you got Pete Carroll and Raheem Morris, one of these guys can be your coach. Fam, if you're sticking with Raheem, you just want to lose. You could have asked me that at the beginning of the season, and I would have said Pete Carroll. Without knowing the outcome that eventually became our season, I would have picked Pete Carroll. Been there, done that before. Raheem, where's Raheem been as a head coach? But to the house. I'm just being honest. When he had the steering wheel, where did he drive a team to? Besides the house. He drove a team straight into the garage. But again, man, I see a lot of positives, and that's what's frustrating me now. And the look that Bijan had on his face when he knew we were out of the playoffs. That's got to be a sickening feeling, man. I'm out here proving to be one of the best in the game right now. Year 2. And all I know is Cancun on 3. Rodney says, is the press conference on? Man, fam, I'll go check. I'm Raheemed out. I'm Raheemed out, bro. I'm done. I'm done. Man, I remember Bill Belichick was on Pat McAfee's show, and he was asked about not calling the timeouts. Boy, Bill used the term I ain't heard in a while. Bill said it was mystifying that those timeouts didn't get called. And I'm like, hold on. I guess, hold on. We came in late.
Come back better than ever, and that's something that I'm gonna build on, throughout my career. And but it's gonna be a lot of work put in. but I am going to have time to myself too. So.
Mike, the words you were saying about your excitement for the future, I can only imagine Bryce Young is saying similar things right now. Did you have the feeling during the game as you guys were trading scoring drives that this could be the start of a division rivalry between you two quarterbacks?
I mean, you're so caught up in the moment. We just balling. We playing football. They score. We feel like we got to capitalize. We score. They probably feel the same way. And that's part of the game. You got to make big time plays when it's required. That's what this team was able to do, and they were able to do it as well. But man, it's always gonna be a big time game. It's every time we play them divisional game. It's always big time. So in the future, we look forward to winning them every time. So.
You talked about adversity. One person that was with you through a lot of that was Kalen DeBoer. He was at the game today. What did that mean to you, and what is you guys' relationship like? What do you guys talk about? Do you go back and forth about your performance at all?
Yeah, I mean, Coach DeBoer, Nick Sheridan was there as well. He was the first person I was with him before Coach DeBoer. At Indiana, he was the one that recruited me. Since I was like a sophomore in high school, so I know him for a long time. And he ended up with me at Washington as well. So both of those guys being able to be here, bringing their families and their spouses, it was amazing to be able to see them and know that they care enough to make time out of their day to come see me play. And man, I'm forever grateful and thankful for them because I feel like they changed my life. They helped me get to where I'm at today. And man, I love and appreciate them so much for it. And I was super excited to be able to see them on the sidelines pregame. So.
Anything else?
Thank you.
So one question. So Michael, obviously Falcons fans are going to be disappointed about this outcome. Is your message to them, hey, we're building something special on offense. I'm here. I'm coming back. Like what is your message to those fans right now?
Yeah, I mean, the message is, continue to believe. I feel like we got a lot of talent on this team. A lot of talent coming back, and we're just gonna continue to build off of this year. So I look forward to a lot of playoffs and even Super Bowls in the future here for this organization. So tell the fans, continue to believe, man. We here and we gonna be coming next year. So we ready. Thank you.
Notice how you mentioned them coaches. Notice how you mentioned them coaches. You said, man, we got good players on the team. Man, listen, the future's bright for this kid, man, and that was a mean-ass jacket he had. That jacket was mean as hell. But yeah, man, that's what's irritating me right now. You see all this talent on the field, and then you have coaches that just, fam, we're driving down. They bring Bijan in. This was, I want to say, the third quarter. They spread 5 wide, and then they throw a screen, somewhat of a screen, to Bijan. I'm like, I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, that was a fucking idiotic call. That was an idiotic call. But yeah, at this point, Seth said show them comments. Hold on, let me see if they still cooking in there. Yeah, they still cooking. Hold on. How do we get rid of this damn? You got some Bucks fans in there being super. Somebody says I'm a Bucks fan until the Falcons can change my mind again. God damn. This D never stopped the 4-12 Panthers, never slowed them down, and eventually choked our D out in overtime. Samuel L. Jackson needs to put the belt to Raheem's ass. Yeah, and another thing that I don't like, and this is just a nitpick, I don't like when we win the coin toss, we elect to receive the ball. I don't like that, and we've done that on a number of occasions. And I'm just like, again, I don't like the coaching. Now, do the players have to get better? Of course, man, they got to get better. But I never liked the defensive scheme to begin with. And then, we talked about how Jimmy Lake has to be getting help at halftime. Boy, it seemed like he got no help. And if I'm gonna be honest. If I'm Jerry Gray, fuck you. If I'm Gray, I'm telling him to his face, you're on your own with this one. Again, he gets leapfrog for a first timer. Man. But I do like the kid's tenacity. I like him saying, hey, listen, we come in next year. He mentioned Super Bowls. So he's got confidence, but these 3 games ain't on Penix. Notice how nobody's talking about Kirk Cousins anymore. It's been it's been about a whole month. Ain't nobody mentioned, because we know Kirk out of here. That kid has played well enough where you can look at it and be like, okay, I see something here. We didn't see this in Desmond Ridder. I'm looking at some of these throws, fam, and I'm like, boy, that is an absolute dot. The touchdown throw to the Drake London. Well, what was that? Because I think he had two. The first one. It went right back to it. But it's just Zach Robinson's scheme is not attractive. Pistol offense. You know, you're running it to death, and there's just nothing sexy about that playbook. Nothing. Meanwhile, you got Detroit out there with plays where they're acting like the ball is loose. Man, they're coming up with all kinds of creative shit. We saw Carolina try to get sexy. We ain't doing. Damn, it's basic. If you do not have Bijan, it would be a question, Zach, up out of here. Especially some of these plays where Bijan is turning them into touchdowns. He had one today where that play looked like it was dead in the water. But Bijan, yeah, actually 2 of them. But he actually managed to sit there and wait for that hole, which seemed like it took forever, and just used his skill to get through there. That ain't on Zach. Again, an average running back's getting tackled right there. He's being saved by his players. But yeah, Keith says only one more win. Yeah, if people are talking about that's the expectation, I got a rice field to sell you in China, bro. If that's what you think the expectation was this year. Now people trying to move to go, but what y'all expect? Playoffs, motherfucker. That's what we expected. That was bare minimum the expectation this year. The basement was the playoffs. We ain't even in the basement. We in the dirt right now. So again, my argument is this. If you're being honest with yourself, you got Pete Carroll in one hand, and this is after what you've seen. I'm going to give y'all that. This is at what we've seen right now. You got Pete Carroll available, and you got Raheem. Which one you choosing? Seems like a pretty simple answer at this point. Pete comes in, he's already got his quarterback. He's already got his running back. Already got his number 1 receiver. And remember, he did have the Legion of Boom when he was there. Matt says Bijan is another Le'Veon Bell, just better. Yes. Antonio said, get your hands out of my oh. And listen, man, I think Raheem personally might be a good guy. but he's a coordinator at best in this game. At best, he's a coordinator. And it's okay. Arthur Smith, at best, is probably a coordinator. Look how long it took Dan Quinn to get back to a coaching gig. It takes a while. And then he got a, the argument for Jalen Daniels is really, I'm not going to lie, because you look at, matter of fact, I'll put him on the screen. So you guys, this is how important coaching can be. And it is a team game. Let me do it this way. All right. Okay. All right, let's do it this way. So, let me get this off the screen real quick. Oh, shit. So, we're going to take a look right here. This is Jaden Daniels' stats, right? Just the basic stats. This doesn't account for his rushing, which is probably more than Caleb Williams. But he's thrown for 3,530 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a QB rating of 102, right? Not bad. These are what people are saying are rookie of the year numbers. Now, let's take a look at Caleb Williams. These are just the basic stats. 3,541 yards. Oh, hold on. Is this his? Oh, so they might be playing right now. 3,541 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And they're calling him a bust. Y'all see how the narrative changes? And he's had to endure a terrible coach. One that they fired the very next day after he swallowed his timeout. And the interim isn't really that good too. But look at the numbers. Now his rating is 87 compared to Jaden Daniels 101. But if we're just looking at the raw numbers right here, and they're calling Caleb Williams a bust. But Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year. The only difference that I see there is the horrific coaching. Caleb's doing the best he can do. But what's going on there in Chicago? He's doing the best he can do. But that's a bust. Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels he's got 3 more picks than Caleb does. And Caleb's on the worst team. So this further kind of cements my argument as to why you got to get these coaches up out of here. I don't want to see Michael Penix in a situation like this, where you can tell the talent's there. He's got 2 picks this year that ain't even his goddamn fault. They're not even his fault. They both go for picks because Kyle Pitts throws one up in the air and Ray throws one up in the air. These, and mind you, these should have been completions. So he's got 2 picks on his resume right now that should have been completions. And to make matters worse, they should have been completions for first downs. Monica says the Pats have fired. Wow, really? That's a 1-year coach right there. Wow. So yeah, Hold on. I got to pull this up now. Hold on. Let me see. Wow. Okay. Let me put this up. This is further cementing my argument, by the way. I just want people to know this. I just want people to know this. Hold on, let me make this bigger. Patriots fire head coach Gerard Mayo. Now, let me tell you why I can make an argument for Gerard Mayo, but I can't make one for Raheem. Gerard went into a rebuild. That's a rebuild that Gerard just walked into. Nobody had them going anywhere this year. Nobody did. Nobody did. The Patriots making the playoffs weren't on anybody's NFL bingo card. But your boy got fired. So now y'all got to justify why Raheem, who walked into a way better team that New England had, way better, but he get to stay another year with a losing season and one win better than what we had last year. Y'all got to explain that to me. Now, I know there's going to be some people that are going to be like, man, he don't know what he talking about, man. See, listen, it's like this. It's like this, man. You know, y'all need to trust me. I played for Old Mogi High School. You know, I blew out my ACL in my senior year. So, I played some community college ball. But had it not been for that, I would have went pro. Look at my numbers in high school. I would have went pro. Now, see, this is what y'all need to do. Y'all need to understand. It's a process. Really? Explain that to New England. Apparently, New England don't believe in that process. Dre said a Saquon drop from being 7-9 again. Yep. But yeah, if it's a process, how come New England ain't got the memo? They on a rebuild. See, y'all got to understand. See, Zach Robinson, he a first-time OC, man. Usually it takes OC, it takes a first time, usually 5 to 10 years to get acclimated to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep them at least another 3 years. They'll try and sell you on that shit. Now, as a Falcons fan, we're more rational than that. See, y'all don't understand the X's and O's and things. Some of these players got to execute, man. They got to execute, man. That's what they got to do. It ain't all on the coaches, man. Yeah, a lot of it is on the coaches. Because tell that to Caleb Williams, who's considered a bust right now. Goddamn near the same numbers in Jaden Daniels. Now, the rushing yards, again, might be in Jaden's favor. But Jaden's probably going to end up being Rookie of the Year. With virtually the same numbers. But to me, Raheem's fate was sealed last week. What he did last week was fireable. And then the excuse that he had 24 hours later, that didn't even make sense. Let me show y'all where, in my eyes, not only did he need to be fired, it was It's almost civic duty at this point. We need to make a citizen's firing of Raheem Morris. Because his explanation was so fucking stupid. And I'm sitting here like, bro, this our head coach. This our head. Why do we keep getting guys like why do we keep getting guys like this, bro? Why? And it's just all right. So I'm gonna put this up on this. To me, when I heard this, I'm like, yeah, we got to get this guy up out of here. And shout out to Scott Kennedy for this. I think Scott asked the question. And this was the reasoning. If you hadn't seen it, if you've seen it, you already know what I'm talking about. If you don't, yeah.
The game a little bit more tricky. Like, you got the ball, you got 40 seconds left, and you hit a big time play to Mooney, and you get that big time play to Mooney right there, and you really, in our opinion, right there, want to jump the ball. With the reason being behind it is to keep the regulated rush. Right? If we call timeout right there, if we clock it, we do any of those situations like that, we stop the clock. That allows them in their fringe area to bring out some of their unregulated rushes, their designer blitzes, their zeros, all those type of things. Their satellite like coverage that we know about from Quinny and what they've been able to do and have a lot of success with.
To me, that's why he should have been fired. Let me tell you why he should have been fired in that moment. I'm a replay this, and then I'm gonna tell you what he just told us.
Those type of things. Their satellite like coverage that we know about from Quinny.
Let me rewind it a little bit.
Them in their fringe area to bring out some of their unregulated rushes, their designer blitzes, their zeros, all those type of things. Their satellite like coverage that we know about from Quinny and what they've been able to do and have a lot of success.
So first off, he's calling him Quinny, which means he knows him personally. Here's my problem. If you already know what he's going to draw up on defense, if you already know this, feed that to your fucking coordinator and draw up a play to beat said defense. This is why this guy don't need to be the coach. He's hired two guys that he knows he can't put in situations like that. But when he said that, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, you know what they're going to draw up. And most coaches that know this information are calling a timeout because they know what you're going to do. It isn't unknown. He didn't sit there and say that he didn't know what they were going to do. This man literally said he knew what they were going to do.
Area to bring out some of their unregulated rushes, their designer blitzes, their zeros, all those type of things. Their satellite like coverage that we know about from Quinny and what they've been able to do and have a lot of success with. But what we're able to do is get a 4-man rush, regulated rush with the guys that we know coming, get those guys blocked up, catch a 2-man in the back end, and get us a really good look on the sideline to Mooney that we just missed. And it took a little too long, and I'd like to have that back, obviously, because it didn't work, and possibly call a timeout and go against the harder looking defense or take a chance that I'm going to get the harder looking defense. But man, in hindsight, if we can just hit that one route and we get a chance to have the timeouts to utilize the whole field, you get that big time play to Mooney right there.
Oh, my fault. Damn, I went back. Here's the thing. If you know it's taking too long, why don't you fucking call a timeout? But why don't you call a timeout? If you know it's taking too long to develop, Raheem, you had two. You had 2 timeouts. Call one. Don't just let it keep going, even though it's taking too far. Okay, well, we'll
and fairly granted to you guys, but you got to make those decisions at the heat of the moment. And with my study, knowing the personnel of Joe Witt and Quinn on what's going to happen if that clock gets stopped and how it's going to go down for my young quarterback when it comes to protection purposes, I wanted to get him a regulated 4-man rush with my guy standing in the pocket, being able to deliver a throw. I'm being able to get it done. And this is not throwing my guy under the bus by any means.
That's what he just did. He didn't call the timeout because he wanted a 4-man rush. He didn't trust his quarterback, if he called a timeout, to be able to see where the zero blitz or whatever was coming from. But here's my thing. That's what you got you for and your OC and your line for. So you did throw him under the bus. So instead of taking accountability and saying, man, I fucked up. In the heat of the I panicked. I fucked up. And nobody can sit there and say this is a legitimate excuse because you got coaches that have actually won chips that are calling this shit mystifying. Absolutely mystifying that he didn't call it. And remember, Eberflus got fired the next day for this same shit. Fam, this is malpractice. You call the timeout to help your young quarterback so he knows when he goes to the line exactly what needs to be executed. Because let's say he made it there on time and took a sack. Still got to call timeout. Let's continue.
I will ride with this guy anywhere and all the time. And I hate when it even comes out that I'm trying to do that. I'm just simply explaining the rationale and the thought process behind it because I really believed in it at the time. And when you look back at it, you know, obviously you got to question it and you got to second guess. Being a first-year guy, second game, do you want to handle that differently? Maybe. But I tell you what, man, like when you even go to Zeno, talk to us a minute, when you even go to that in the stats, it's a 50-50 whether you do it or not and how you go about that process. You know, just like to be able to get it done a lot faster. We like to be able to get it done and complete it. And you like to see the results if it happened the way we had planned it out.
And again, shout out to Scott Kennedy, man, for the clip. Yeah, that showed me that he's not a coach. Because remember when Eberflus did this, fam, everybody ripped into him. I would make an argument that Raheem Morris didn't get ripped into that bad. Because we all saw Eberflus look on the sideline like he didn't know what to do. And almost offered the same exact goddamn excuse as to why he didn't call the timeout. Rookie quarterback in Chicago, rookie quarterback here. Just admit you're not a good coach. Because every other coach and y'all saw him stream down the sideline today to call that timeout. Your man ran a 40 to call that timeout, but still swallowed 2 and took him to the house. These timeouts are like leftovers at a restaurant to Raheem Morris. You call a timeout. You already know what Quinny's gonna do. You already know it. You know their tendencies. You already know this. Tell your offensive coordinator, listen, he's coming. I expect him to come. Draw me up a play that's going to get me 10 to 15 yards to get us closer to field goal range. I got 2 timeouts. It's a first down. So we're 1st and 10 right now. Find me 15 to 20 yards. Well, I'd have 1 timeout left. But this is why this man don't need to be a coach. This is the exact reason. You can't keep this on the roster for another year. I'm not about wasting talent. I'm not about that. I would rather have Michael Penix have a whole offseason to study a new playbook under a competent OC as opposed to learning one from an incompetent OC. And the DC, you can just get rid of altogether. There's no Jimmy Gray should be driving. He should be driving his own personal vehicle back to his fucking house. They should have let him go as soon as they hit the locker room. You ain't even invited in the locker room. I'd have security sitting there waiting on you. Man, I left some stuff in it. Yeah, we got it. We got it in this box right here. You have a great offseason, man. But we'll see what Atlanta does, man. Again, another failed season. Shout out to Carolina, man. Lil Bryce balled out. Lil Bryce balled out. And credit to Tampa Bay for winning the division, man. They fought the whole year. They fought the whole entire year, and it's still fuck you Saints. You know, I say this. You earn what you get. We earned the couch. We earned the couch. But I will say, moving forward, fam, you got to have some credibility for me to get behind you. As far as these coaches and these OCs go, you got to have some credibility at this point. I'm not co-signing anything else. You know, and as far as Kirk Cousins go, I don't know where he's going to end up. You got people talking about San Francisco, but I think I've never seen that. What Kirk Cousins did this year, minus an injury, fam, I haven't seen that. But then, you know, one of my homies hit me up, and he was like, man, you know, outside of those Tampa games, Kirk really didn't have explosive games. He had games where he played clean, where he wasn't turning the ball over, but he never got back to the Kirk Cousins of last year, being consistently able to drop dimes. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. If I was Terry, I would have took the same risk. But that just goes to show, man, you have hits and misses. You got to admit the misses. And you have to redirect after that. Kirk fell off the cliff. Ain't nobody campaigning for him to stay another year. Why are we campaigning for Raheem? Why are we campaigning for Zach? Why are we campaigning for Jimmy? And with Gerard Mayo, with Mayo just getting fired, y'all can't even justify Raheem coming back. They were in a far worse situation, roster-wise. And New England, hey, listen, we have 1 year, you man, it's good. We know you alumni. You alumni too. He alumni. That man played there. Got him up out the paint. Our head coaching search continues, which is more of a reason why you get off of Raheem and you go get you somebody that has a winning record or is proven somewhere. And let Raheem go back to being a fucking DC. And let Jimmy go back to making coffee for a DC. And let Zach Robinson do something. I'm pretty sure if Zach Robinson went down to the collegiate level, he might be a beast. But all of them got to get up out of here, man. Because the results of this season is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The next guy that comes in, you got to create a culture, and you got to be great at one side of the ball. You can't be average on both or below average. So, you know, Raheem coached himself out. Hopefully, coached himself out of the job, man. But for me, I'm looking at Penix. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the kid. Bijan, love what I'm seeing. Drake has turned into a damn monster as a wide. And Drake has the one thing that the whole team needs to have, and that's dog. He needs a new helmet too, because that helmet come off way too often. But Drake got that dog in him. And, you know, Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. I mean, I don't even know what to fucking say at this point. You know, you got a decent O-line. You know, McGarry does the best that he can do. Bergeron had another good season. Lindstrom is consistent. You know, Jesse Bates had a great season. Justin Simmons, not so much. AJ ended up having a decent season. You know, we got Landman came back from injury. He was decent. Caden Ellis is starting to become something. Ebiketie had 3 or 4 or 5 weeks of being a straight dog. You know, so you got some things that you can work with, man. It's just you don't have the people that actually control the wheels of the team. They're not good at what they do. Eldrick says Drake a light-skinned dude with black Air Force energy. I like that, man. Bijan got a little dog in him too. We know Algier got some dog in him. So you got a deep this roster too good not to be making the playoffs, man. I'm sorry. And I feel like that Penix and Drake connection is only going to get strong. Man, if I'm Drake London, we throwing it in the parking lot right now. Hey man, meet me by the Lambo. We outside in the parking lot running routes. Because what I saw today, I'm like, bro, if you get another person on the opposite side that can do the same amount of damage, oh, it's going to be a nightmare. But again, you have to get the right person calling the plays. Dre says Kyle Pitts is the Kawhi Leonard of football. Hardly tries. When he does, it's emotionless for him, shocking to us. I can't make that same comparison. Here's why. Kawhi got a chip. Kawhi got 2 chips. I can't put them in the same category. And then Kawhi is hurt all the time. So I got to take that into consideration. Now, I'm only saying this about Kawhi because I watched that boy grow up on my team. I watched when Kawhi came in the league, Kawhi barely had a jump shot when he came to the Spurs. He barely had a jump shot. Great lockdown defender. And then he developed that jump shot. He developed that 3. And it was a wrap from that. Goes to Toronto. Takes a gamble on himself, wins a chip, gets the bag, going to the Clippers, and then just always hurt. So I can't say they in the same. Quiet, yes, but nobody can call Kawhi Leonard a bust. Nobody can even say that with a straight face that Kawhi Leonard is a bust. People can now officially say Kyle Pitt's a bust. And even somebody like me who's like, man, the man's had 6 quarterbacks. I can't really get in them like that. If somebody says that, they're absolutely justified for saying it. Whether I agree with them or not, doesn't matter. It does not matter. But anyhow, fam, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I'm probably gonna do another video Tuesday. Barring any new, man, Raheem should be fired tonight, man. But we'll see. Art likes to sit on these types of decisions for a minute. But we'll see what happens, man. I can tell you now, I'm just gonna go ahead and give y'all a heads up. If these 3 guys come back, I don't expect nothing next year. I'm just gonna be honest. The bar for me is gonna be in hell. I don't expect anything. If all 3 of these guys come back intact, at best we'll be at the same spot, 8 wins, maybe 9. That's how little I feel about this coaching staff right now. So with that being said and done, fam, your boy is up out of here. I appreciate everybody listening to me. If you're listening a little later, man, hey, sorry that the results were what they were, but man, it is what it is, fam. We got to live with it. We got to come back and retool for the next season, man. So with that being said, your boy is up out of here. I will holler at y'all Tuesday.